Hello and welcome back. For those of you that haven't visited my channel before, my name is Emma and I am a professional woman in my 50s who enjoys using makeup. And I started using makeup because I have problematic skin and I used foundation products and concealer products to hide blemishes throughout my life. In the last few years, I've really got interested in more luxury makeup and using makeup in my professional life to boost my confidence. So I started this channel to share some of the experiences that I have and review things with you. So today I am going to talk to you about a new palette brought out by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's a 9-pan palette. And it's one of a range of 9-pan palettes that Anastasia Beverly Hills has brought out over the last few years. And I have one of those already in my collection. When you have a large amount of eyeshadow palettes in your collection, like I do, it's sometimes quite difficult to justify adding another one to the collection, right? So I want to look at whether or not this one complements what I already have. And I do have a number of little rules to justify a new purchase. The first one is, does it replace an aging favourite palette that I use regularly, either the same as or very similar to? Is it something really eye-catching and novel, and therefore is worth experimenting and potentially sharing with you? Is it something complementary to what I already have? And that's a tricky one, but, you know, will it add to the collection and give me something that I haven't got already? There are the larger palettes that stay at home, really. And there are one or two innovative ones like Danessa Myricks where they can split into smaller palettes, but in the majority of cases, here's an example. Here's a Natasha Denona one, well used. I'm not going to slip that in my handbag or in my makeup bag in my handbag. And there are the smaller type palettes, like the 4-quad Charlotte Tilbury's, that are lovely for fitting in your handbag, but have a limited colour range. So it's a sort of 1 or 2 looks that you get out of that. And then there are the slightly larger 9 palette type, like this Charlotte Tilbury one that came out last year. And this haze is in that 9 palette type. And I do have one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills 9 palettes already. This is the Sultry palette. And it has been quite well used, as you can see. Is a sort of series of warm shades. And you can see that I've really used the shimmer quite well in this one. This shimmer's very nice as well. And I've used that quite often, either in my work makeup bag, sort of daily work makeup bag, or for overnight trips. But unlike the Sultry one, which is fairly warm tones, this one, this new one, is fairly cool toned. So you can see the combination of the two gives quite a few different looks, but this one is quite cool toned. And if you look quite closely, unlike this one, which has blacks and browns, this one has a bluey tone to it. So it does complement in that it isn't blacks and greys, so I can justify it because it is that little bit different. In terms of its portability and putting it in my handbag, compared to the 4-quad, really not that much difference, the Charlotte Tilbury 4-quad. Compared to the Charlotte Tilbury 9-quad, not a lot of difference. But the difference is, these did not have a mirror. And this one is rather nice in that it does have a mirror. In fact, I should do that, shouldn't I? So is eminently more usable straight out of your handbag. The other thing that I wanted to say is that there are a couple of other of these that I didn't purchase because they weren't a colour range that I was so interested in. One of them was called Embers. The story in the Embers one is very, very similar to a 2016 Mario palette. In fact, it was a collaboration between Anastasia Beverly Hills and Mario at the time. this Haze palette is being compared to another Mario palette, the Ethereal Eyes palette. And I didn't buy that one. And yes, you can absolutely see that the colours are very, very similar. However, this is a 9-pan. I already have in a number of other palettes, the greys and the black in that Mario palette. This to me is eminently more portable and still covers the interesting cool tones that are in that palette. So what I thought we'd do today is I'm going to put 2 different looks on, one sort of daytime professional look and one just vamp it up a little bit for the evening to give you an idea of how versatile this palette is so that you can decide whether you want it to be a complementary palette in your collection or not. Okay, so for the little one and done, I'm going to take, first of all, this really light one and just brush it across. Then the shimmer in the middle. Now that was so easy that you could virtually do that on your train, and believe me, I have done my eye makeup on the train on a commute in the morning. I'll put my foundation on at home, put a little bit of eye primer on, and finished everything off on the train when I've been in a rush. So that's a nice daytime look. You could darken the outer corner if you wanted it a little bit darker. Okay, I'll put my mascara on later, but let's do a slightly more dramatic look, and for that I want to use this blue and the duochrome. I'm just going to swatch them. So they're quite interesting colours. Okay, so on this one I'm going to start off again with a little bit of the brown, just to give a little bit of colour in the crease. And again, I'm going to just go in with the slightly darker, just to give a little bit of depth in the corner, but not a lot. I'm going to try this one. There is a little bit of fallout there. Easily corrected, but Do be careful with that. I have to get the concealer out just to touch that up and into. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Those two go very nicely together. So I might want to do my concealer after putting this makeup on. Okay, that's starting to look quite nice. I just wanted to take a smaller brush, and as we have the blue, and I've often said that because I have blue eyes, I don't wear blue, but what I like in this palette is that it blends well with the colours here, and you can use it, I'm hoping I can use it just subtly. So I'm just going to apply it like using this angle brush. Just to give a little hint. So there is a little bit of dropouts, but I've got to be careful here. Make sure I tap the brush. So just a little bit of blue, which I think looks rather nice with those colours, actually. So let me just bob some mascara on, and I'll be right back. So there we go. 2 looks from the new Haze palette from Anastasia. This one is using just a couple of the mattes and the shimmer from the middle of the palette. And this one is using the lighter shimmer and these 3 colours here to give a slightly more evening-y, more dramatic look. There are several sort of one and dones in here. This one's very nice as a just general shimmer with any of these shades really. So I think that this absolutely complements the Sultry palette that I've used quite extensively. In fact, I'm going to admit to this being the second purchase of this Sultry palette. I think the size is excellent. I think it fits into a makeup bag very easily, or into your handbag very easily, very similarly to the 4 pan type palettes that you can buy, but in this one you get 9 and a couple more looks. So I like the formulas. I like the cool colour shade. I think that if you are wanting a complementary palette that is portable in your handbag, then this one would work really well if you like the colours that are in this palette. So I hope you found that useful. See you again soon, hopefully. Bye bye.